I'm all for Warhammer receiving additional games in a variety of genres, such as shooters, turn-based games, side-scrollers, and even card battlers, but there just doesn't appear to be a compelling reason to immerse yourself into something so dull and basic as Warpforge. Let's take Warhammer Underworlds. While not my style of game, felt a bit more interesting in comparison. Unless I'm some hyper fanatic who just wants to get their hands on anything with the label Warhammer, I just don't see any real interest when games like Hearthstone or even League of Runeterra exist, which offer a lot more entertainment through a variety of different outlets, not just the PvP and practice modes, while also being relatively balanced and also challenging. The game is as simple as you would imagine. It's a card game with a style and visual representation of a Warhammer, with factions and their other features. There aren't any real features here, like powers for your heroes or even any fun game modes to keep things fresh and interesting. Just the melee and range mechanism where you can avoid suffering damage if you hit a target without a ranged weapon. I'm not sure why, it just didn't seem all that intriguing to me. Aside from the obvious balancing issues where a very high rarity card is just clearly OP with stuff like being able to regen both during and after your turn, I just don't generally stick around to study the deeper mechanics of every single deck, but they didn't appear all that fun from the outside looking in. Unless they start adding some balances and decision making, it's just not really worth it for your time. You either play a meta build or you don't play at all. All I really liked about the game was the voice acting and the dialogue between each of the characters, which again was very limited. The gameplay is exactly as expected. Build decks that are absolutely useless if you're not playing meta. Every time you take a turn, you get more energy to use more cards in your deck. Nothing too special or fancy here. Because you only have access to 2 decks that are actually considered good versus most things, you'll either spend most of your time with those 2 and start farming for better choices, or you could just pay to acquire them faster. But honestly, why would you spend money on this game unless you truly enjoy the Warhammer universe? If not for the balancing difficulties and of course the fact that it feels overly simple in comparison to many other games of the same genre, I'd just rather not play it at all, or at the very least wait until the game irons out all of the bugs that are presently affecting it. As a mobile game, I could definitely see this being decent for the basic game that it is, but without balance, it's not worth your time or effort unless you are a meta slave hopping from game to game seeking for every website that carries these super decks and their counters. That doesn't appeal to me. Why play a strategy game at all if all you're going to do is look up how to play it, while never really incorporating any of your own strategies into your own gameplay?